So we're going to have an informational presentation first, and then we're going to have a live Q&A section after. And we're actually joined by our very special guests, so I'll have them introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Claire. I'm an advisor with the Shidler College of Business.
Hi everyone, my name is Joy Nishida. I'm a developer at the STAR Academic Technology Office.
Right, so we're joined by these very special guests, so thank you so much for coming on and presenting this information and being able to help answer our questions. We also are joined by our silent guests, so they're there in the background and they'll be commenting or answering the questions for you. So we have Leilani from the Manoa Advising Center. Thank you so much for joining in. And we also have from my office of admissions, we have Amber and Jose, who are also admissions counselors. So all three of them will be helping to answer questions. So during the informational portion, the first half of the presentation, you can ask any questions that you have in the Q&A, and we'll be answering it through the Q&A. Those three people will be answering. And then, right, yeah, so we'll be just going over a GPS overview and a walkthrough demonstration. So I will let Claire take it away. Thank you.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone. Hopefully you were able to watch the YouTube tutorials that were sent out. This webinar is meant to supplement that. So we're gonna basically walk through registration, and we're gonna answer some questions about holds and things like that. And then at the ending, as Connie mentioned, we'll go ahead and have a Q&A. All right, so first we're gonna go ahead and log on to STAR. So this should look fairly familiar to a lot of you, I hope. So you log in with your username and password. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, the student is currently an exploratory business student. For the purposes of this webinar, and because I work with the College of Business, we're going to use the exploratory business student as an example. So it's going to pull in all the courses and everything as an exploratory business student. However, if you're a history major or an engineering major or any other major, obviously your courses in here are going to look a little bit different. But for purposes of how to register, everything will be the same. All right, so at the top, you have a few tabs here. To the left of GPS registration is called the Academic Essentials tab. And this basically pulls in all of your general education requirements and all of your degree requirements. So as you begin to register and complete classes, it will kind of look and form into here, and then eventually everything will say either tentatively complete or complete as you start nearing graduation. This tab called the What If Journey, you can use this to run majors that you are considering. So for example, if you're thinking of pursuing accounting, then you could click that, click submit, and then what that will do is it'll pull in everything as if you were an accounting major. And so you can see the GPS, it will update and pull every single requirement that you would need for BBA in accounting. And then the Academic Essentials tab will also pull all the requirements for the BBA major. And so you can run as many what ifs as you want. It is not permanent. So any changes that you make in the what if journey are not permanent. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and exit that what if journey there. Another tab that you have are these transcripts. And so if you have any AP credit or any transfer courses coming in, you would view them in the campus transfer report. So this test student doesn't have any transfer courses, so this is going to be empty. And then as you start enrolling in classes at Manoa, you'll be able to view your Manoa transcript on here as well. To apply for scholarships, it's actually through your STAR as well. So there's this tab scholarships. And so scholarships are available once a year. So they're available in early December and close in mid-February. And students can apply for scholarships through STAR. And this is for the following academic year. So for incoming students in December, you'll be able to start applying for scholarships for your sophomore year. Okay. So for the purposes of this webinar, we're going to be using the GPS registration here. Right, so for an exploratory business student, it pulls in the first 2 years of your degree. So it pulls in all of the admission requirements for business as well as the general education requirements. And so GPS will actually pull in suggested courses for you to do. Okay, so for example, let's say that in high school, I took the Psych AP exam. Okay, I'm going to try to earn credit for Manoa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google Manoa AP credit fact sheet, and it's going to bring this here. So I'm going to scroll down and look at the Psych. So I took the Psych. I need a score of at least a 3 to get 3 credits for Psych 100 at Manoa. I just took my AP exam. I'm very confident that I am going to score at least a score of 3, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to get 3 credits for Psych. So you can see that it is located here as part of my fall classes. So because I'm so confident that I'm going to get AP credit for this, I'm going to go ahead and move it into the sandbox. So the sandbox feature here means that, 1, I still have the requirement, but 2, I believe I'm going to get credit for it. So I'm going to hold off on putting it into my schedule for now. Okay. Let's say I also took the Calc AB AP exam, but I'm not too confident that I'm going to score 4 to get credit for Manoa, but I think I could get a score of 3. And so what that means is I'm not going to get any credit, unfortunately, but I'll go ahead and be able to enroll in the other calculus options at Manoa without having to take the placement exam. And so what I would need to do is just contact the math department for approval. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag calculus from spring 21 into fall 2020. And the reason is I just took calculus. I want to go ahead and take that course right away again because the information is still fresh in my mind. So I went ahead and dragged it into fall instead of taking it in spring because I don't want to have 6+ months where I don't have any calculus experience. So I went ahead and dragged that into fall. And so this drag and drop feature will allow you to kind of personalize your classes. So for example, let's say you took the English AP and you might get AP credit for English. You can go ahead and drag it into the sandbox, or you can always register for the course because I know AP courses or the scores don't come out until July. So if you're not too sure, to be safe, if you want, you can always just register for the course. And then after your score comes in, if you do get credit, you can go ahead and drop it at a later time. So don't feel that whatever you register for right now, it's final. You can keep making changes and adding and dropping courses to your registration all the way through the first week of school. So you can be flexible with what you decide to add and drop. So don't be afraid that what you register for the first time is permanent. Okay. So I have these 5 classes here. I'm also taking a second language in high school. So that may be something I want to continue. So what I'm going to look to do later on is possibly take a placement exam for that language. And then depending on where I place, I'll be able to add that level in later on. So right now I'm going to have it as my 5th course, but I won't be able to register for it yet until I take that placement exam later on. Okay, so this is my schedule. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to click this register add drop button here. It's telling me that my registration start date is the 21st, which is tomorrow. And each of you should actually also have a specific time. So the 21st at 8:30 a.m., for example. But for now, what I can do is preview my registration and select my class times. So I'll have to update my record and then adhere to some policies. But for now, we'll just go ahead and preview. So you can see that the 5 courses that we put in the fall 20 come up here. So basically all I'm going to do is select a course, and for microecon, it will pull every single course option that's available. Okay, so let's say I'm looking for a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class at 10:30. So I'll go ahead and click that one. And in my calendar here, it will pull the time so I can visually see and plan. So that's perfect. So I'm going to move down to the written communication, or my English 100. And there are a lot of different sections. And let's say I'm trying to stay with that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So let's say I want an earlier class, 8:30. Okay? And you can see that it pulls up there. And basically, I would just go down the list, right? So my global multicultural perspective. It's going to pull the class that I had initially starred first, but then it also gives me all of my options. So let's say I want to, again, do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So on this left-hand column here, I'm going to select the days, and then I'm going to search. So what that's going to do is it's going to pull all the courses within the Global Multicultural Perspective group that's only offered Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay. So you can see that I have a lot of options to choose from. So let's see, this Hawaiian 100 has a time conflict, and it lets me know that it has a time conflict with my current schedule. So if I did want to take this course at 8:30 instead, I would just have to go back and change my English 100 time. Okay. But it looks like I can fit on a good class in between those two, so I'll go ahead and put that. So again, my language, I'm going to wait again for that placement exam result. So I'll go ahead and move on to my calculus. So because I think I can score 3, again, I might be able to just go ahead and register for the Math 203. You can see that it has a prerequisite. You can expand the course and it will kind of give you what the prerequisite is. Okay. It also gives you the narrative or a short description of the course as well. So the only calculus option that does not have a prerequisite would be this NREM 203. So you can see that these have a time conflict, but these don't. So it looks like, oh no, there's a Tuesday, Thursday option. Whichever one I select, it's going to give me that Tuesday, Thursday option as well as the really late class at the end. So for now, let's say I just want to register for it. If not, you can always just tentatively hold on to this math course. You won't be able to submit the registration, but it will still keep your class time there, so you'll be able to submit it later on. So it looks like I was able to plan a really great only Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'm going to acknowledge that it's back to back to back. Possible break in back. I'm keeping in mind that because I don't have my language in yet, it is possible that I may have to make some changes to it. But for now, I'm happy with the schedule. So what I'm going to do is check out, and then you can kind of see that it's listed here. Yeah. So in yellow, it says pending ad. You must submit your registration. And so what that means is I would have to click this blue submit ad drop courses. It's not my registration time yet, so it's not allowing me to do so. Once you do submit your registration, you will get a confirmation email confirming that these courses have in fact been added to your schedule. So just because you added it in here does not mean you've registered for the course. It just means that you've selected the class times and the sections that you want. But you have to submit your registration to register for your courses. So please remember that, very important. We get a lot of students who say, oh, but I picked my courses, but when we clarify whether or not they've actually submitted their registration, they have not. So all of their first class times that they've selected have been full. So now they have to go back in and reselect class times again. So very important to don't forget to please submit your registration. Right. So in a nutshell, that is basically how you would register. You can see that the 5 classes that we initially selected are in here. If I wanted to, for example, register for another course, because I know that I can register for up to 19 credits on my own. Let's say I want to add a humanities and literature course. So I went ahead and added that in. And then I'm going to go back into my GPS, and then I'm going to go ahead and select a course. So we're going to select a course. And so this left-hand column here can help to filter your courses. Okay, so it's still loading. But basically what you can do is if you click on show more filters, you can filter by location, the instructional type. But if I show other attributes, it will also give me the general education requirements here. Okay. So if you wanted to try to filter, if instead of not selecting this, you just went to add a personal choice, yeah, then it's literally pulling every single course at Manoa. So if you wanted to try to filter that down a little bit, you would use the filters and the attributes to narrow your selections down. For tuition at Manoa, anything that you register for at Manoa, you only pay for up to 12 credits, and anything past 12 is free. So if you decide to enroll in 5 classes for a total of 15 credits, that last or 5th course is going to be free. Okay. Just want to give that as an FYI because I meet with a lot of students as they're kind of almost finishing their degree and they don't realize that. So that's something that I just wanted to point out. All right, so once you do register and submit your courses, it will have these kind of asterisks next to them and you won't be able to move them around. So that's how you know that you have registered for your courses. And it will also show in your Academic Essentials tab, it'll pull in to the requirements here. All right. So that is going to conclude the demo version for the GPS, but we're just going to go ahead and go back and adjust a few more questions. So holds, overrides, and waitlists. So holds are placed on a student's account as a quote gentle reminder that action is still needed. So for example, you saw that when I logged onto GPS, it said I still had a pre-registration checklist. So I needed to go through that. Unfortunately, students receive parking tickets, and so if you do receive a parking ticket and you don't pay the obligation, a hold will be put on your record, and this hold will actually prevent registration, so you won't be able to add or drop courses until that hold is cleared. For a lot of incoming students, if you haven't submitted your health clearance forms yet, the hold will go into effect later on. So again, that's MMR and the TB. At Manoa, we have a policy called mandatory advising, and so it's not to be detrimental. It's to make sure that students come in to see an advisor to talk about courses they're currently in and courses that they're planning for the upcoming registration. So the mandatory advising, if you don't fulfill that requirement, a hold will be put on your record. If some of you have transfer credit or took courses outside of the UH system, you would need to request official transcripts to be sent to Manoa, and you'd get a transcript hold. And if you're an international student, you will also get a hold as well. So this is an example of what a hold will look like. So there are 3 different types of holds. The I is more, hey, I'm just letting you know this hold will go into effect July 15th. And so what that means is I can still make changes to my registration now, all the way up until July 15th when this hold goes into effect. So if I clear and submit whatever it is it's asking me to submit before then this will disappear. This is kind of like a warning hold, and it's going to prevent registration, for example, only at Windward Community College, and the reason. So if I have any questions, I can go ahead and call this number here. This X will let you know you currently cannot register at all. And so it's preventing registration, period. So it's an example is the financial obligation hold. So it began on February 6th because I didn't make a payment. Okay, so if you see any X's for your holds, it's preventing you from registering from here on out. Okay. All right, so some courses require or may need an override, and the override is to grant exceptions for that particular course. So student can possibly get an override by contacting the instructor or the department directly. Please keep in mind that overrides are not guaranteed. And if you do receive an override, it does not automatically register for you. You have to go into GPS and actually add the course. So overrides are not meant to keep you from registering for the course. It is not meant to act as a barrier. The overrides are so that students have the adequate foundational knowledge in order to progress into a higher level course. So if I wanted to do a 300 level course in a really special topic, but it may require some fundamental knowledge that I don't have yet, that is the reason why it's requiring a course prerequisite in order to enter that higher level course. It's not meant to keep you out because we don't want you to register for the course. It's just making sure that you're adequately prepared so that you can succeed in a course that requires higher level content knowledge. So again, the different types of registration errors that you may get are a time conflict. That means you're trying to register for 2 classes that either end and start at overlapping times. A prerequisite error. So again, the course that you want to register for may need some foundational knowledge first. And so the prerequisite error, sometimes depending on the course, some instructors will allow students to enroll in the course without having the necessary foundational knowledge. But again, that's only course specific and you would have to contact the professor to do so. There are also major restrictions, so students would have to be pursuing that intended major in order to register for the course. So for example, if you're a comm major, only comm majors can register for certain courses, same as journalism, and even business courses. A lot of our upper division business courses, all students have to be admitted into the College of Business before they can register for 300 level courses. So just be aware that there are some restrictions on certain courses. So what to do if you receive any errors? Again, you can always contact the instructor as well as the department. So the waitlist is an option. If a section is completely full, you can actually waitlist for the course. And so what you would do is click this button, which is waitlist for this class. Okay, waitlist only. So it'll show that there are no seats available and you can only waitlist. And so how the waitlist works is if somebody who is already enrolled in the course drops it, it will go to the next person on the wait list. So the first person in line on the wait list will get an email saying, hey, a seat has opened up. You have this much time to go and register for the course. So if I was the first person on the wait list and I got that email, I'm going to go ahead and hurry up and go into my GPS and add the course. Okay. If I miss the time frame that it gives me, I'm actually dropped from the waitlist line and it will go to the next person on the waitlist. And so then now I would have to waitlist again. And if the waitlist is full and I'm in the back of the line, there's a lower chance that I might get into the course. So if you don't get into your first choice course initially, just waitlist for the course and let the process take effect. The waitlist is cleared on the first day of school. So at that point, if a seat becomes available, it is first come, first serve. So if you keep checking the availability and you see on the first day that a seat has opened up, go ahead and hurry up and get into your GPS and add the course. Okay. So summer advising. So this is now live and it is an online workshop. So this is the website here and it has really great helpful information, not only on registering, but on advising, degree requirements, and everything that you would need to kind of start your journey at Manoa. It is free, so I would highly recommend utilizing the functions and all the resources that the Summer Advising online workshop offers.
Thank you so much, Claire, for your presentation. So thank you guys, and thank you so much, Joy and Claire and Leilani and Amber and Jose. Thank you guys so much.